And it's like happiness is now. Happiness is in the journey. Like that's truly what success is. And same book I've been reading, he talks about what is success? Have you defined success? And I was like, that's really interesting. Like, so each goal you're setting, what is success in that goal? And for me, like, all I did this year, I set the goal. I had a certain financial goal, but I set a goal of just showing up every day and being disciplined, being consistent with that. Mm-hmm. And that goal came to reality. And it's like, okay, next year I got to push that goal out further because I know I need to grow. Growth equals happiness. I can set the same goal again, but I'm not going to be happy because I've already achieved that. Like I have to grow. So I don't need the goal I set. I want it. And that's what it's really shifted from, like, oh, I need this, because you don't get what you need, you get what you want. What's up, guys? This is episode 17, Seed Time and Harvest podcast with Alex Chapman and Nate Force. We're here today. We're talking about the horizon. It's going to be a fun conversation because it's a new year, dude. New year, new you.
You did that just because you know that I don't like it.
I hate it.
I used to. Us being in the fitness game, I think the new year, new you was the biggest thing ever. Like I used to love it. And January come and be like, man, here comes that train of human beings, right? Like
I get it. It's good, right? I want someone to change their life. I want them, and maybe that's like. We're kind of being facetious here, but maybe that's...
No, I still like it.
Yeah, the thing to like, get your life moving. But I also think as you evolve and you grow, like, why do you need a new year to make a decision? Just make a decision and go for it.
It's just, but it is a good reset. Like, I just feel like I feel like New Year's is like, there's amazing components to it.
Yeah.
Of like, reset, look at where you came all year, how far did you go? What did you learn? It's a good like self-assessing, business assessing, financial assessing sort of like time.
Yeah.
You know, for guys like us, we're already in flow of like, I was talking about 2025, like in, April, I was like making sure that this was set for 25 and whatever. And you're the same way. But like for a lot of people, and I do like the whole reset side and I still use it for a lot of the reset. But it is also a massive fucking marketing scam. You know? So it's for gyms and for products and for journals and for whatever. Totally. I bet there were like, how many ice plunges do you think were purchased like in the first? Last half.
Why do you see all these sales and stuff like that? But like,
so many. Everyone's dipping in that cold water now, dude.
Yeah, dude. Well, on that note, like, what was your biggest lesson from 24? I know that's probably a loaded question for you, but
it is. But gosh, honestly, the biggest lesson of 24 was consistency, and it's a loaded question, loaded answer, and we were just talking about it with Alvy. Like it's like the consistency in the small things, the little things that become boring, that become repetitive. The 17th episode of our podcast, right? And we were just talking, there's it's 7 episodes, people quit. It's 5 episodes, people quit. I think our mindset was, what was it, 1,000 and people pay attention?
It's a race to 200.
A race to 200.
That's like you're in like elite podcast territory.
A race to 200.
Yeah.
So we started out with a mentality of let's get at least 200 episodes in.
Yeah, that'll be like 2026 at this pace.
Yeah, right. And so I think like,
or a little after that, whatever.
I'll kind of explain a little bit of the consistency, because I actually got emailed by another podcast group about our podcast, and they were asking me some questions and some stuff, just email type questions, like, interview questions on an email. And then they were like, we'll consider you for some interview or whatever, but I don't know what's going to happen. But they said, if there's one thing about you that you've either learned or done to differentiate yourself in the business world, what is it? And it's consistency.
Yeah.
So when we started out last year, it was crazy. Like, we just went through the buyout. We just went through all the legal stuff. We restructured our company, our team. There was all this like rumblings and earthquake going on. And you went through it. You saw us go through all the mess, right? And so it was like there's a handful of things that we just need to stay consistent with this meeting. We need to stay consistent with this lead review. Now you're seeing some of those meetings.
Yeah.
You're seeing like the Wednesday leadership meeting. You'll see some of the other ones like that some are great and some are you're just sort of sitting there like, okay, let's get to the next thing and take the action. Let's go. But consistency.
Yeah.
And not just in meetings, but just a little bit of the things that you just need to do from your workout to, either your prayer, your meditation, to whether it's a morning routine, an evening routine. As long as you stayed consistent with some things that were just so important to you and important to your business and to your professional, personal growth, you really will start to see things compound. Mm-hmm. Right. And it takes a year. And this is the first time that I was like, let's see what this happens if I go for a whole year on just this little thing. And man, it's like, whoa, that is crazy what will compound in 1 year of 3 times a week. And the first 4, 5, 6 months, you're like, this is fucking, this is so pointless, or maybe the first 6 or 7 episodes we do, we're like, this is cool, but it's not. For me, it's consistency. I don't know. What about you? Was it?
Man,
I'd say consistency.
But to touch on the consistency piece real quick.
Yeah.
The thing that I've realized, like why your fitness is so important, because if you are fit, you're going to carry a level of respect anywhere you go. Because you could be broken fit. Exactly. We instinctively know that takes discipline. And we always are drawn to that because you know someone's trustworthy by whether they're consistent or not. And I would argue that everyone's consistent with something. It just might be you're consistent with eating chips every night. You're consistent with not watching Netflix. It's what produces results in your life. That's why you should follow results. Like we were just talking about, like a simple rule of life is to only listen to people that have what you want. And so I've been thinking a lot about this. Like your fitness is going to carry you into a lot of different rooms. Mm-hmm. And it's because consistency is something we all desire and we all know we can do it. It doesn't take any talent to be consistent. It doesn't take any special ability.
Discipline.
It just takes discipline, right? And we're immediately drawn to that because it's something we all carry. But it's also, I think, in our nature to want to be consistent. It just might be you're consistent with something that you don't want,
Oh, yeah. I mean, if you think about the Netflix addictions and the Hulus and the Amazon Prime addictions. I'd say I'm finally, because I'm speaking it into existence, I've been kind of weaning myself off of it because I was naturally like, as a kid until now, I'm a movie head. Mm-hmm. Like I know movie quotes and shit. Like I can really, like I actually wanted for a living at one time to sit on a show like this and just review movies. Like just talk movies and actors and the industry and go through because I'm just so intrigued by it. So now I have this library, this digital library, and I can go through, and you can now, because it's messed up, it's almost like the TikTok or Instagram of movies. Mm-hmm. So if you're a movie head, the dopamine that's released when you're scrolling through is like so powerful. And then you can watch a trailer. And do you really need to watch the movie after you watch a 3-minute trailer? Really? If you're a movie head, you know everything that's going to happen in the movie. Sure. Maybe there's something different. And so I've really tried to wean myself, and it's just nighttime.
Yeah.
Like when you, like between that like 9 p.m. and 1 a.m., if you can just not watch Netflix or Hulu or whatever the hell it is, your life will change.
I was literally telling my wife last night, I was like, babe, I think I'm done with TV at night. And then I'd go downstairs and the Penn State game was on. It was tied, and I was like, I sat there for another hour, and then I fell asleep on the couch and it wrecked my sleep. And then it was just like, man, your morning starts the night before.
It does.
Yeah, but like to me, my biggest lesson of 24 was, it's about other people. You got to bring as many people on the journey with you as possible. It's like I kind of scaled this mountain. I said in our meeting yesterday, and got to the top, and it was just like, oh, there's no one really here.
Dude, top's lonely, man.
Yeah. And it was like, success for me this year is to get to the top of the next mountain. We talked about the valley a couple weeks back, and it's like to get to the next peak and to have as many people there with me to celebrate with. And it's like, hey, we're going to the next one. And so that was really the biggest lesson for me. And that's a huge shift for me because it's always been just how fast you go. You want to go fast, go alone. You want to go far, go together.
I love when you said that yesterday.
Yeah.
And for anyone that watches on our team or around or friends or family of ours, when I say the top is lonely, it's not some arrogant like ego like thing that we're sitting here, we're multimillionaires. The top is different for a lot of people. I think for me right now, like the top isn't financial, but dude, it's definitely like my consistency, the way I show up as a dad, my evening routines, my workout routines. I'm not drinking and carrying on anymore. Like there's just so many things that, and the top is lonely because you're not sharing all that time that you were normally sharing with others. Yeah. Right. And or deals or business. And the top for you and I and a handful of other people in our office is, you've come. There's such a gap between you and the rest of the people, revenue wise and deal flow wise, mindset wise. That you are at the top of that, and it is lonely, and there is a massive delta between what you're doing and what others are doing.
But you get to that next peak, and what I've realized is actually your circle changes. It's not that it's lonely; it's that it changes, and that's the scariest thing for most people to pursue success, is because you're going to change your circle and you're going to have to change who's around you. And that's what keeps a lot of people stuck. So that's where the courage piece comes in, where you got to be like, oh, I'm okay with this. I'm going to change who I'm around. And it's almost like a sense of loss too, because you're going to leave some people behind because you're pursuing your growth. But in reality, what you're doing is you're blazing the trail and you're saying, come with me. It's awesome up here. It's way better up here. I want to enjoy this with you. And the reality is, though, not everyone's going to go on that journey with you, and you got to be okay with that.
Oh, like diluting your expectation a little, right? So you're just like constantly fucking disappointed. And I think that's what I learned that a lot this year too. If we're talking about just like the learnings at 24, I absolutely agree with you. I would say that's probably after consistency. It is like, we consistently did what we needed to do to build out the infrastructure and SOPs for our company and everything. But we also, I personally, and I lost sight of what you talked about, the deposits in humans and people and our people, right? Yeah. And so I had there's this gap between like this daily communication I was in with people to now I have like some distance between them. And people are either with you because they're following you or they're following the cause. Right. And right now, I can't tell if our agents and peers are following us or they're following the cause. There's a big difference because the cause is just commissions and they're chasing money. Sure. And so anyone that calls them on the phone that says, I have got another 10% over here and a $5,500 signing bonus, that person who was with you for years that you thought was like your comrade, right? That you're a partner in crime and you help them come from, start from, bartender to now doing, 12, 15 million a year in real estate. Someone offers them a couple dollars more or something like that. And they go and they leave you. I'm having a hard time deciphering between like cause and leaders. Right.
It's interesting. I've read a lot on leadership, particularly like in the realm of a church, right? Because not many people are there getting paid, so they're not there for that. But the people who stay the longest are always because it's a bigger mission than themselves.
Right.
They're tied into the vision of that company, that church, that organization, whatever it is. And the vision is what people stay. And they've done studies on it too, where people will accept less money when they feel like they're growing personally in a company than going somewhere else to have more money. So I believe that's the key, dude. So
me too. Yeah. And that's what I'm hoping that our partnership, friendship and both professional and the working side, that I'm hoping that you and I and Mike and Gunnar and everyone that we work with here at B1, like that's what I'm hoping for 2025 is not hoping, that's what we're striving for, right? Is can we show these kids and these people, and I always say kids because if you don't have kids, you're a kid to me. Sure. Right? You're still a kid. You haven't had to go through that. You could be 65
and be a kid.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And so you haven't had to weather that storm just yet. But like, I'm really hoping that this is the year of inspiration, true inspiration, and people get to the agents that work for you, for me, for us in here and work with us really get to taste that Kool-Aid, that juice, man, because it is a fruitful juice, and there's no weird chemicals in it, and it's pure and
I really think it's true, bro. Like, help enough people get what you want, you'll have help enough people get what they want, you'll have everything you want. It's like service to many leads to greatness.
Yeah.
And, that's ancient wisdom, right?
It is.
But how hard is it to like actually implement that? Because it's like, it's got to be about me. It's like what you chase will run from you, but what you plant will grow. And so it's like, if I'm chasing money, it's just
Jordan said that.
Yeah.
Jordan was like on an Oprah interview years and years. I mean, like right after he like really came out, and she was like, "Did you always know you were this great?" And he was like, "No, I mean, I didn't start really playing basketball till I was like 12, almost 13."
Yeah.
And he focused on the consistent disciplines and put the work in.
Yeah.
And he said, and this was almost bestowed upon me.
Yeah.
Because it was my reward for
it's
the
who
work.
He is.
Yeah.
That's why Tom Brady can win, 7 championships and keep his fire. Because it's not about the money. He's not chasing something. It's just who he is. And I love that. And it's kind of like the topic of today, the horizon, right? I've read this, and it like clicked for me so much, because we set goals, right? But we set goals like, I want to get to this, I want to make $1 million. Just use that for example. But that's the horizon, right? You get to that horizon, and then it's like, okay, I got here. What's next, right? And so it's like the gap and the gain. So when you're focused on the gap, that's meaning you're focusing on what you don't have. But the gain is looking back and saying, oh my gosh, look how far I've come. And then you're comparing yourself with you, because that's the only true comparison you have of how much you grew. It's like, you're going to change. You're going to get fatter. You're going to get older. Like a year from now, you can either choose to be more fit, or you can choose to be less fit. It's what you do in the discipline every single day. Or you can choose to have more wealth or less wealth. Like, it's going to change. You're going to get taxed. And so like, growth is a choice, but change is inevitable.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I've been thinking about this a lot, of like how to set my year up. And I've realized this year, particularly, I stopped focusing on this horizon goal. Like, when I get here, then I'll be. And it's like, happiness is now. Happiness is in the journey. Like, that's truly what success is. And same book I've been reading, he talks about, what is success? Have you defined success? And I was like, that's really interesting. Like, so each goal you're setting, what is success in that goal? And for me, like, all I did this year, I set the goal. I had a certain financial goal, but I set a goal of just showing up every day and being disciplined, being consistent with that. And that goal came to reality. And it's like, okay, next year I got to push that goal out further, because I know I need to grow. Growth equals happiness. I can set the same goal again, but I'm not going to be happy because I've already achieved that. Like, I have to grow. So I don't need the goal I set. I want it. And that's what it's really shifted from, like, oh, I need this. Because you don't get what you need, you get what you want.
Yeah.
But you got to have the courage to say, oh, I want this. And that, like he talks about, like, it's the hardest thing for entrepreneurs, is just say, well, why do you want to drive a Ferrari? Because I want to. Like, we always have to try to justify it, because that's part of the trap that keeps us stuck too. Because when you're going after what you want, that's a different pull than I need this, right?
Yeah, I gotta share this, because
go ahead, dude.
So bizarre. It's not going to be bizarre for you. It's going to be bizarre for anyone that's listening, the people that decide to listen to this. So, as I was kicking off the new year, I was really thinking, like, okay, usually last year, I only have like one or two like resolutions, like one or two things I'm like, I need to change, because you can't, the new year, new you is bullshit.
Totally.
You can't put together this list of, let me change my calendar. Let me wake up at 5 a.m. Let me go to the store and meal prep.
You get overwhelmed.
Let me do all these things. And then I'm going to stop cussing. How long have you been cussing? 40 years. Like, you can't, like, I'm going to quit Zins. You have this list, like, oh, that is a new year, but that is like that's the version of you that you have to watch compound. Like, if you put the list of things you want to change, like your goals of things, like your physique, your finances, whatever, that's your, like, that's the superhero that you like sketch out of yourself. But you have to start on the building blocks. A lot of people don't know that. And they make this huge list, and they write it all out for the new year, and then they go through and they build their calendar, and the very first morning, the alarm goes off at 4:30 or 5, and they don't give up or they don't get up, it's done. Mm-hmm. I mean, first one. So I haven't been able to conquer my morning, and we've talked about this for about 3 years since my separation from my ex, right? And literally since then, I have not been able to wake up at 4:30 or 5 in the morning and just bounce out of bed, no matter what time I went to bed either. Just get up, go, because that's what time you have to start the day, because between 5 a.m. and 8 a.m., for someone in my position, your position, some other, that is the most important time.
It's like the only time I have to myself.
for your like the only time you have to yourself, but for you.
Exactly.
This is my time for me. I'm going to go to the gym. I'm going to get my head right. I'm going to be alone in my dark living room, but with the news on, and I'm going to make my coffee. I'm going to take my time. And that time is painful because it's so uncomfortable to get up out of your bed and everyone in your house is asleep down to the animals, and you're just like, fuck, it's all cold, you know? Yeah. So I'm like, all right, I'll just commit to that. And one other thing for New Year's, I want to commit to this, and I'm really going to stop telling people what they want to hear and what they need to hear. I'm gonna take I'm always honest with people and what we're doing, but I really do like finesse like a better, easier kind of answer to them. Whereas with certain people, I need to be way more like, hey, bro, this is what's up, and this is this is what I'm feeling. This is what it is. Process that. We'll figure it out later. I'm usually like a little more diplomatic. Like, okay, let me try to make you feel better. So this year, I'm gonna be way more brutal with the honest. In certain circles, a lot of people can't handle the brutal honesty. I'll still be honest. I'm just not gonna be like, fuck you, man. You know what I mean? So I'm like, conquer the morning. Stop telling people what they want to hear and tell them what they need to hear, right? That's the only two things I'm going into next year outside of everything. And then we have to keep running with this. So I do all my food the night before. Food I'm going to clean up regardless. I've been wanting to do that. So I'm like cleaning up some food, and they're all up in their sleep, and I have my watch on, and I'm like, all right, I've got 30 minutes to fall asleep. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I definitely know what time I need to get up. Yeah. So I meal prep a little stuff. I go upstairs, I lay down, and I was like, restless. I'm like, oh fuck, there's no way I'm gonna get up at 4:45 because it's already 11:15, and I'm done here. Like I just know my body needs like a solid 6 hours, a good 6 hours, right? And I'm already losing this, and I'm just gonna be exhausted. So I started praying on it. I was like, listen, God, I'm only asking you for one thing, and you give me something, and I'll give you something back, and it's just my promise to you. If you open my eyes at whatever time you open them tomorrow, I'll get up. I promise. If you open them, I'll get up, and let's just start with tomorrow, and you and I will work together on this as we go through this year. But let's just start with tomorrow. As soon as you open them, if you open my eyes at 4, I'll get up at 4. If you open my eyes at 5:30, we're 10 minutes late. We're to being at the gym already. I'm like, can you just help me with this? Yeah. The alarms don't do it for me. I turn them off unconsciously. I'll turn them off in my sleep.
I've done that as well. Yeah.
These are failing. Like they're not gonna. I would have to set one in my downstairs that I hear upstairs and walk down there, and I'd probably still sleep on the couch.
The old cartoon, like the punching bag,
right?
Punch you in the face.
Something. I'm like, so I need you to wake me up. The technology is not doing it, and I'm whether I'm so broken or whatever it is, I can't get up. I can't do it. I love laying in the bed next to Elle and Haley and this, and I don't know. I just can't figure this out. Can you just wake me up? You wake me up, I'll get up. 4:48. My alarm is set for 5:20. 4:48. Boom. I mean, I'm talking like woke me up, not like
wide awake.
And I'm like, that's crazy, because that this doesn't happen. And I track my sleep. I got some great sleep, even though I was asleep for only 4 hours and 40 minutes. Yeah, it was like the best kind of sleep you can get. So I was like wide awake, go do my thing, go to the gym, had a great workout, got back home, sent all my texts to the team, did everything that I needed to do before anyone was even awake. Right? Like for me and for what, took a shower, got out, got dressed up, got the kids together. Haley's up. She goes and does her thing. You know what I mean? It was like blizzard snow. I'm like, okay, I come to work. Last night, I go to lay down, and it was late again, right? And I'm like, all right, let's do this again. You and I, you know, you showed me once, and hopefully you saw that I popped up. I held my promise to you. I said, listen, I'm really tired tonight. You know, and it was like 10. I'm like, but this is good. We're going to bed earlier. I'm feeling tired. So if you wake me up tomorrow, don't open my eyes at 3:30. I said, because I can't make that promise to you again. But what we'll do is we'll get up at the designated time. We'll get up between 5 and 5:20.
4:48.
Right? No. I said, just whatever you do, don't wake me up at 3:30 because I won't get up at 3:30.
Yeah.
And so I'm dead asleep. Again, great sleep. 3:30 on the dot. And I was like, oh, I already told you we weren't getting up at 3:30. This is too early.
Yeah.
This is too early.
Yeah.
There's nothing we're gonna do here. And I was like, I'll be back up. Give me an hour and a half. And I got up at like just before 5 and got moving and going. But it was like the humor in God of to say, I was listening. I'm teasing you.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm having fun with you to show you how real I really am to you because I'm having these conversations. How else does that happen? You can't explain that to anyone. If I'm laying here talking to God, saying, hey, if you wake me up at 3:30, I'm not going to get up at 3:30 if you wake me up at 3:30. I'm going to get up at 5:20.
It happened exactly like you said it.
I mean, I'm talking 3:30.
Yeah.
And then it's bizarre. Like, you can't explain it any other way. It's laughable. And I kind of did laugh. I'm like, oh, I was like, that's so trippy.
Yeah.
But I didn't have the energy that I did before. I was like, you know, it was more of like, hey, I'm listening to you. I'm listening to you. It was so cool. I can't explain it other than to you and whoever else wants to hear that. But I had to tell you that. And I never talk about God publicly like this. So I really want to start doing that as well. And it's just like, oh man, it was just incredible.
Well, interesting conversations, very a polarizing conversation, right? Because people have all these lenses that they see or hurt and from the past and stuff like that. But to me, God comes down to like the wind, right? Like you feel the wind. It's a nice gentle breeze, or it can be a hurricane, right? And I've seen both of those in my life. But you can't deny the wind when it shows up, right? Like you can't see it. You can't put a measure on it or anything, but you know it's there. And for me, that's what God is, man. Like there's been storms in my life. There's been storms I've caused myself, but also he showed up and been like the wind in my sail too. And he's never leave me nor forsake me, right? And it's always just been this kind of gentle, it's like it says, the still small voice. And that's what it really is. That's what God is to me. So like, yeah, you can deny, but like there's way too much evidence in my life. Like you can argue with someone's knowledge, but you can't argue with their experience. And there's been so many times that he's shown up for me that like I'd be an absolute idiot to not believe that God's real.
but at the smallest of things, like let's get up in the morning together.
Yeah.
And I think it was you that did say that of like, everyone's asking for what they want. With these great things, they get into these corners and like, please God, help me.
He just wants a relationship, and that's what you're doing, bro.
A friendship.
Yeah.
Build a friendship.
And it's like he's building trust with you, being like, all right, you asked and you shall receive.
Yeah. And you told me, you promised me that you would get up.
Yeah.
And I got to the gym this morning, and dude, I opened the door, and it's like, it goes to show that I just was so out of practice with the morning routine that I was at the door in the gym and I like swayed tired. I was like,
how do you bench press again?
No, I just foam rolled all morning, dude. It's like, I'm just going to, which I need.
Sure.
And I was like, I'm just going to foam roll. My calves are so fucked. and then I just went back home and ate good and got stuff ready. And was
I mean, I didn't work out this morning, dude, but I hit my ice bath. Just because I knew I got
gnarly. I didn't
crappy
like it this
sleep,
morning.
You know what I mean? So it's like, but I've committed to this. I can do this, and I move my body. You know.
Was it dark out when you were in there?
No, I got in a little later. I woke up this morning at like 7.
Okay.
So
That's sleeping in for you.
Oh, dude, yeah. But I was out. But also going back to the night before, I watched that football game. I fell asleep on the couch. And as soon as I take that little nap, it destroys my sleep. So it's like either go to bed at like 9:30 for me, which then I feel great at 5:15,
man, that's
5
magic,
a.m.
right? That magic
I
time,
feel like
9
I
to
can take on
9:30,
anything,
even 10
dude.
p.m. Like if you're asleep by 10 p.m., it's like, fuck, we can conquer anything tomorrow.
Dude, totally.
Yeah.
And it's like I get my morning routine. Talk about God. Like I hear him way better in the morning when I have sleep. It's like when I'm tired and like, so I don't even go down that road. I've been that person that I'm going to get up at 4:30 regardless. And I know now where my life is at. I give myself grace where it's like, no, I'm just going to go work out tomorrow. Like I don't need to work out 7 days a week.
Yeah.
That's actually detrimental. Your muscles never recover. And I've had 4 great workouts this week after taking like a week off to kind of heal my foot up with this
You ever
dumb
notice
nerve
that
thing.
that's kind of the way to do it? Like you get these random
dude.
like full weeks off, and then you go hard for 4 days
have
and
to.
take another 3 or 4 days off, and your body just feels
When I was
fucking
training
amazing.
for my pro day, it was the first time, and I had high level like trainers, strength coaches my whole career.
Yeah.
It was the first time I trained at this powerlifting gym called Westside Barbell in Ohio, and they produced all the strongest guys. I literally watched a guy at a competition squat 1,250 pounds on his back. And my trainer, he had squatted over 1,000, I think like 1,100 pounds. He had deadlifted almost 1,000 and bench press like 770. You know, so like huge strength.
Just
But none of
freaks.
those guys got hurt ever because they knew the training routine. So they would do a 6-week block. So you train for 5 weeks and then you do a deload week where you still move, but you're not loading up your central nervous system. Because if you do that, that's where injuries happen. And so I give myself grace. Like when I feel like I'm not, when I get after it, I get after it. But like some days you go in and you're like you just foam roll or you just stretch.
How are you training now? Like, what are you doing right now?
I pretty much train like an athlete, dude.
Do you still do that?
Oh, I'm jumping,
So do
I'm
I.
running like,
Yeah.
just because of business, like talking about goals again. One of the keys to a goal is like, what are you willing to give up to achieve this? Because
Yeah.
you can't just add more to your bucket. You have to remove a little bit of that water so you can fill it back up. And so it's like, what I gave up was basketball. Like I was playing
That's
3-4
right.
times a week, and it was always like 11 o'clock noon. I mean, right now they're hooping, and I'd
Yeah.
love to go. I love it because it's like keeps me athletic. It's
Yeah.
community, all that stuff. But I didn't hoop for like a year, and I went on Thanksgiving and hooped, and I was dunking still, and like it's not like I used to, but I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool because I still train like an athlete. So it's like I love doing like a heavy set. It's called post-activation potentiation. That's a really long word that means do a heavy set and then do something athletic, because right after you do a heavy set, your central nervous system is wired. It's full go. So then when you do something athletic, that wires that into your body. So like do a heavy squat and then go into a box jump. Do a heavy bench press, go into a clap push up.
Yep.
So
Yep.
like you go
Yep.
like immediately. You can do it like
I train like that. I don't do
bicep
heavy
curls.
squats. Do you do back squats still?
Oh, yeah.
I don't load anything on my back anymore.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I'm all front squat. I'll go
never-
heavy like kettlebell front squats.
Yeah, I mean, you got to change up in my opinion, you got to change up the modality. Like, don't just back squat every week. Like, I'll do goblet squat 1 week. I'll do back squat. I'll do front squat. I'll do changing up the tempo. Do a pause squat. Then do like an explode. Like, there's so many ways to change it up.
Do you like
But
Lifetime? Do you still you go to
Oh
Lifetime
yeah,
Fitness?
I mean, it's not my favorite gym I've been to, but I stay there number one because community.
Yeah.
And it pretty much has everything I want, and it's right down the street from me. And hopefully they build one in Castle Pines here in 25, so that'll
bet
be
they
sweet
will.
at the canyons.
Consistency, man. That's
Yeah.
good. Train like an athlete. If you, to the listeners, if you're not going on stage, train like an athlete.
Well, dude, that's like I heard a public speaker say one time. He's like, he was a basketball player, and he says, I train to be a public speaker now like I trained to be a basketball player. And that's the way I feel in real estate. Like, I am training every day to be the best damn real estate agent in all of Denver, you know? And it's like, so I come in with a certain swagger, like, because I believe also I'm worthy of that. And maybe this is another day, but like we've talked a lot about belief. And I think that's the thing that most people are lacking. Number one, they don't believe it's possible,
Yeah.
or they don't believe they're worthy of it.
Yeah.
And that's why they never go for it. That's why they never set a goal.
Yeah.
They either set the goal as that horizon goal because they're comparing themselves to someone else or some ideal. This is why social media is so damaging, because you're always comparing yourself to someone's ideal. Oh, this person's relationship, this person's car, this person's job, whatever it is, you know. Or They just never set the goal because they don't believe they'll ever get there, because they're also comparing themselves to that ideal. It's like, oh, I'll never be Alex, so I'm never even going to start.
Do you think people don't? Do you think that I don't know. We gotta cut the. Oh, no, we still have a few minutes.
Oh, we're good, dude.
You think that people don't do like the goal setting and this, that, and the other because it's like this weird insecurity of like, that's dumb. Like this, like
I think it's just fear.
Like that's corny.
Yeah.
Like they're just saying this stuff because I feel like when we talk about it to our team,
yeah.
And Caitlin's so good at it too. Like I mean, she's come a long way. You know, it's just shout out to Caitlin in her life that people don't know about, right? Like there's a lot of stuff, like challenges and things that she's had to overcome that these practices truly helped her, right? And so she believes in it. I believe in it. You believe in it. Whether you're taking journaling in the notes in your phone. You don't need some like beautifully done journal by a fireplace, you know, and like that. I think that people just, there is such a fucking gap, right now with people like us and people like them, and them meaning like everyone who doesn't believe. The gap in I believe in myself and I don't believe in myself has gotten bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger since as time goes on, and I think. You know, but that's what I'm trying to learn this year is how do you bring that kid. You see what I'm trying to say? I just feel like it's like people just don't know how to go.
Belief is a muscle too. And so like I've been thinking about this year, like people do words for the year, right? I feel like 4 words have been given to me: courage, commitment, consistency, and confidence. And I believe courage is the secret sauce to all this. Because like, what do they say? Courage is not the absence of fear. It's taking action in spite of fear. Just having the balls to get out of bed. Man, I'm 100 pounds overweight. I'm going to go to the gym one day, get out of my comfort zone. Like, that's extreme. Like, how scary is it to step on I remember my first football game, stepping on that field for the first time, being my mouthpiece literally like stuck to the roof of my mouth because I was so nervous.
So dehydrated.
But then the more you do it, the more consistent you are with it, the more confidence you get. And I believe confidence leads to belief. And then the more you believe in yourself, the more courage you have. And then it's like this perpetual wheel that starts growing. It's kind of like the spiral. Like that spiral starts really small. Then it gets bigger and bigger, and it goes bigger, bigger, bigger. And then you wake up and you're like, I don't even recognize myself because I've done this consistently for the past year, the past 10 years, the past 20 years. You know? But then it also works negative.
Oh, yeah.
Life and death.
It goes way faster on the negative than it does the positive. That's why it's so hard to get out of these debts.
Because you're going down a hill, but then you have to go up the hill, and it takes courage to do that. And so I believe like when you have courage, to have the courage to commit to what you want. I'm going to make $100,000 this year. We both know in this business, that's easy to do.
I mean, you're showing up.
Yeah, just showing up. But how many people don't believe that they can actually do that because of their past, because of what they were taught as parents or their teachers or their friends and this and that. So that's where the courage piece, I believe, is the secret sauce. That's what I want to build, like the team we're building with this year. Like, have the courage to go after it. What do you want? That's scary. You want to make 125 this year? Oh, you're going to have to do this. So courage, then the commitment to it. When you're committed, you're burning the bridges. Like we've committed to this podcast. Like there's no option here. Like I'm not in my head.
Who's carrying the boat?
Do I go grab coffee or do I go do the podcast with Alex? Do I go watch a movie? And that's where like life sucks when you're on the fence. Like Kobe says, he's like, I never negotiate with myself. I love that, And so like take it even further. That's what Jesus says. If you're lukewarm, I'll spit you out. It means if you haven't decided, then that's a really terrible place to be. That, to me, is living in hell. Like they say, oh, they're living in hell. Well, when you're on the fence about stuff, just commit. To say, and it's like maybe that's the fitness background or the trainer background. Like how many people say they want something, but they're not really committed to it. Oh, and then when those distractions come up, and they're going to come up, then that's when you succumb to those. Because then when you're committed, then you'll be consistent. And when you're consistent, that's what breeds confidence. I was the most shy person in the entire world you've ever met. So insecure, bro. I had big ears. I had red hair. I had freckles. I used to literally cover my right arm over my left because my left arm had more freckles. And I was more embarrassed about that. Like these little stupid things, but like the more consistent you are. And to me, one of the biggest things that got me more confidence was the gym. You start seeing muscles pop out. You start seeing this. It's like, that to me is the best place to start for anyone. That's kind of what I wanted to share yesterday. It's like, if you don't know where to start on your health.
Yeah, go to the gym.
Because it's all about your vibration. You can't be in a bad vibration after you get a workout in.
Nope.
You're always going to feel better. The best workout you can do is the one you just did, right?
Yep.
So like to me, that's the 4 words that I want this year: courage, commitment, consistency, and confidence. And the more confidence you have, the more courage you have. And that's that spiral that starts to get bigger and bigger.
Man, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, dude.
That's awesome, man. I think we could go on like always forever and ever on this, man. But
yeah.
You know, I think the message going into next year for you is powerful. It's a big one, man. I think for me is bringing these kids along. Mm-hmm. Right? Let's really,
we're going up this mountain together.
Let's stay consistent, and let's really like take all the learnings from last year, stay consistent. The deposits in our health have to keep going.
Yeah.
Right. And then really, really making some serious deposits in these people we believe in.
For sure.
Right. Because that is when the magic will happen. I feel like this year is the year of like truly pulling out people's light and trying to, instead of just talking to them, like helping them, being with them.
Because you think about it, like, what do we say in sales? Sales is a transfer of belief, right? And I believe belief can be transferred. And I learned that through sports around like some of the greatest leaders I played with. It was like they immediately raised my game. And that's what I see. That's why I realized too, like I have to take on this new position to bring people with me to get this belief through osmosis, because the more you're around this, then you're going to develop it yourself. And then it's time for you go do it. And that's how we change the world, bro. And that's what I really care about.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Episode 17.
In the books.
Yep. Peace.